Welcome to our 17th battle report for DeepWars. I've got a big treat in store for you today, and when I mean big, I mean the big toys are coming out to play. So the Ancients of Atalan and the Scaly Horde both bring out their biggest guns. Let's see who rules the sea with the big toys. Alahal the Immortal and Matlal the Elder cruise the shallows, tracking a relic they believe rests in an ancient Scaly Horde deep-sea burial ground for centuries. The relic has been known to extend the lives of the Ancient Ones, and looking for ways to save his race of Atalans, Alahal will stop at nothing to retrieve this relic at all costs. Little do they know that the ancient rites are being observed by the Dagathonans at this very moment in the burial ground, and upon seeing the ancients race towards their watery place of reverence, the Dagathonan elder god and ancient sea dragon join the deep caller, along with his prized and favorite anglerfish, to defend the burial ground and keep the sacred relics protected. Will Alahal gain his treasure, or will the Scaly Horde repel the invaders? Let's go over the forces for the Ancients of Atalan.
This is my 806 points Ancients of Atalan force. It is led by Alahal the Elder. He is stock, no upgrades, and he will be leading the warband right next to the sub. All the other individual models that you see will be in the sub. The Wraith submarine is going to be first time on the channel, so we'll see how he performs, and we'll go over some of the other models that we haven't seen on the channel before, particularly the Coboform mech. And we've seen the Elite Soldier before, so we won't go over him in detail, but the other members of the warband that will be in the sub, Matlal will be piloting the sub because he's got quality 2. The Coboform mech will be in there to help repair the sub in case it takes damage. The Elite Soldier will be the gunner of the force, and the Assault Soldier will be there just in spirit to help fight if necessary. This is the Sea Wraith sub. It is 206 points, it is quality 4 and combat 4. It has a ramming bow blade, which is its physical attack if it chooses to ram. It's also got a heavy beam cannon on the top dorsal side there. That's its main weapon. It's marine, it's a vehicle, it's shallow draft, transport 6, huge, tough, shooter long, and ether tech 2. This is requires a pilot. Just like in our last sub battle, requires a pilot, and if you want to shoot the guns, it requires a gunner as well. So the gunner will be the the gunner will be the Elite Soldier. He's combat 4, so we're using his combat score for the shooting, and Matlal will be the pilot, and so we'll use his quality for activation, so it'll be activating on 2s. The shallow draft means it passes over shallow reef instead of treating it as an obstacle, so it can glide right over reefs with no issue. It can transport 6 models at a time. It's huge, so it gets +1 versus smaller models, and ranged attacks against it are +1. It's tough, so it's got extra wound boxes, and that shooter long applies to the heavy beam cannon. The thunder torpedoes are projectile medium +2, so they only get to shoot with a medium stick, but the heavy beam cannon really reaches out there with an extra energy long +4, so that's going to be its main long-range weapon. The heavy beam cannon is also precise, so if I'm targeting subsystems, I get a +2, and it refracts as well. So sub armor is the head or the cockpit is 2, the body is 3, the locomotion is 3, and the weapon systems are armor 2. So pretty solid sub. I'm really excited to see how its long-range shooting does. We've seen this guy before, but it bears going over again since he's the leader of the warband. This is Alahal the Immortal. He has 236 points. He has quality 2 and combat 4. He is a leader, amphibious, shooter long, ether tech 3, big, combo attack 2 hit. So he's a leader, so any living models within 1 long stick get +1 activation and quality morale checks. He can do group activations. However, he's going to be outside the sub, kind of doing his own thing, and the rest of the warband will be inside the sub, manning it and doing all that good stuff. So you'll really only see 2 models on the table at the beginning. Everything else will be in the sub. This guy's really famous for his ability to do some really good accurate shooting. So he's got a hypercavitation cannon, which is projectile long +2. armor break 4. He's got a fusion blade in case he gets into hand-to-hand, so that's hand-to-hand +2 and armor break 3 and breach. And he's got an armored fist that he can punch with if he needs to, because he's got that combo hit. Really, he's going to be going alongside the sub and taking precise shooting at any of the Scaly Horde that's coming at him.
Now let's review the forces of the Scaly Horde.
This is my 799 points Scaly Horde force. It is led by the Elder Dagathonian God. He is new to my repertoire of DeepWars models, so he's gigantic and I can't wait to see him act on the table. We've also got another big heavy hitter in the Elder Sea Dragon, so he's going to be the transport for a couple of different models, and he is brutal in hand-to-hand combat. We'll talk to him about him a little bit here in a moment. The War Beasts are being led by the Dagathonian Deepcaller, and we've got a Draconid Sea Demon Shaman to help out with some magic abilities. And the troops, if you want to call them that, are 2 giant anglerfish at 97 points each. So we've seen those guys on the table before. Can't wait to see if they get in and get stuck in and chomp some Atalan subs or something like that. This is the Elder Dagathonian God. He has 229 points. He is a personality. He is quality 2, combat 5. He is a leader, tough, huge, combo attack 3 hit, amphibious, savage, and deep eyes. He's a leader, so he gives +1 activation to any models within 1 long stick for quality and morale checks. He's tough, so he's got extra wounds. He's huge, so he's +1 to hit in hand-to-hands versus smaller models, and ranged attacks against him are +1. Combo attack 3 hit. If the model attacks on its turn and causes a wound, it can use remaining actions with different weapons, up to 3 attacks possible. So that's pretty impressive. If you've got enough actions, you can do 3 hits with all of his weapons. He's amphibious, so he can operate on land and water. He's savage, so he causes +1 to wound on a double or triple in hand-to-hand combat, and deep eyes for deep sea vision. He's got 3 attack types. He's got a huge claw, 2 huge claws, which are hand-to-hand +1 and armor break 3, and a huge bite, which is hand-to-hand +1 and armor break 3. He's got some pretty decent armor, so head armor of 3, body and locomotion and weapons are all armor 2. So this guy's a hand-to-hand beast. Can't wait to see what he does in combat. This is the Elder Sea Dragon. He is 219 points. He is quality 3, combat 5. He is amphibious, transport 8, towing, war beast, huge, shooter medium, tough, energy resistance, and deep eyes. He's amphibious, so he can operate on land and water. He can transport up to 8 models. Towing allows him adjacent friendly models may spend 1 action to hold on to the back spikes and be towed, moving the friend when this model moves. So letting go takes no actions if you're being dragged along by the Elder Sea Dragon. He's a war beast, so he's led by a deep collar. He's huge, so he's +1 on smaller models, and ranged attacks against him are +1. He's a shooter. He does have a shooting attack, which is a medium stick. He's tough with extra wounds, energy resistance, energy attacks, and attack spells against this model are -2 combat skill, and he's got deep eyes for operating in the deep. He's got a lightning blast, which is an energy medium +2. That's his shooting attack with armor break 3. It's a blast, -1 at short stick radius, and shock, which allows him to do transfixed if if the target doesn't do a successful resistance check. He's got a huge bite with hand-to-hand +2 and armor break 3, and a huge tail swipe of hand-to-hand +1 armor break 3. So he's got pretty decent armor as well, just like the Elder Dagathonian Elder God, with head of 3 and body, locomotion, and weapons of 2. So another hand-to-hand beast. This guy's got shooting as well, so we'll be interested to see if he can do some damage going in, and then wreck face as he gets in contact with the enemy. We've seen the giant anglerfish on the channel before, but it just bears witness. I've got 2 of them now. I painted them up specifically to have some extra really hard hitting and the really good points cost on this guy. So the giant anglerfish is 97 points, quality 4, combat 4. He's a war beast, huge, lure, gulp, inhale, swimming, marine, and deep eyes as his special rules. He's a war beast, so he gets led by the deep collar. So the deep collar will be hanging on to the Elder Sea Dragon and will try to keep all the war beasts together. He's got a lure, so it takes 1 action, and all enemies within short range enemies must roll a will check with 2 successes or be automatically moved adjacent to the model, suffering a free hack. So that works pretty well if you want to try to do a gulp on somebody. Gulp may choose to swallow an enemy if it causes a wound in hand-to-hand combat. Inhale can bite one enemy in hand-to-hand combat without counterattack. Victim may escape with one action strength check. So that's kind of interesting. Like, this guy can actually inhale models with a giant vacuum. Open its giant maws and slurp them in and chew on them. So the weapons on this guy are a huge toothy bite and hand-to-hand +1 and armor break 3, and a huge sideswipe of hand-to-hand +1 and armor break 3. And not as heavily armored as some of the other guys, head, body, locomotion of 1, and weapons of 2. So we'll see if this guy really points efficient. We'll see if we can get this guy in and do some damage. So this is the game table for today's battle. We will be using a 3x3 table, and I'll be doing this as a solo game. So this will be interesting. Due to the pandemic, it's hard to get together with other players. So we're going to see if we can actually do this. So I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work or look out, but we'll do our best. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. So the mission that we're going to be doing today is Skirmish, which is essentially a last man standing, like each warband attempting to destroy the other. So we'll talk about the mission parameters here. I'll do a little pop-up for you to read. Basically, you get victory points for destroying other models, and you get 5 points for the warband that has the most models standing at the end of the game. So going to try to do some line of sight blocking so the Atalans don't have just a complete shooting party. So right here is the game map. We got some lanes of fire that we've got down the channels here, but we're going to have to do some positioning because we've got some line of sight blocking terrain. So that's the game map. So the visibility will be clear water and shallow shelf. Just keep everything kind of up and even. And for dice rolls, we will use the red die for the Atalans, and I'll use black dice for the Scaly Horde. So I'm going to roll for attacker defender. Let's see who goes first. All right, so looks like the Atalans are the attacker and the Scaly Horde is the defender. I'm going to go ahead and deploy those forces, and we'll come right back. Okay, I have deployed the forces. So the attackers over on the Atalan side are the Wraith Sub and Lahal the Immortal on this side. Again, remember that Matlal is piloting the sub. The Copiform mech is in there for repairs. The Elite Soldier is in there for the gunnery, and the Assault Soldier is in there for additional troop support as needed. So they're there. They're going to start moving up the table. So over here on the Scaly Horde side, I've got the Sea Demon Shaman on the left flank. The Deep Caller is there, kind of being towed by the Elder Sea Dragon. We've got the two giant anglerfish flanking the Sea Dragon and the Deep Caller for the activation support. The Degathonin Elder God is there on the right flank. He's the leader, so he can give bonus activations basically just to the Deep Caller. It's the only troop. Well, I guess the Sea Demon Shaman as well. So he's over there, but I think we're going to be just fine. So I think the idea here is to try to go up the board as quickly as possible to engage the Sea Wraith sub. The Sea Wraith has got great shooting, as does Alahal. They're going to have to rely on shooting to kill as much of that beef as they can before they get across the table and annihilate them. So let's see how this goes. All right, so that is deployment. We're going to go ahead and get started with turn one, top of turn one, Ancients of Atalan. Top of turn one, Ancients of Atalan. The first thing I'm going to do is activate the Wraith Submersible. It is piloted by Matlal the Elder, so it will activate on 2s. All right, so that is 3 actions. Okay, so all subs begin the game at speed 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is he's moving at speed 1. I'm going to declare an up to 90-degree turn, so I'm going to turn him like this, so that he is going down this channel, and I'm going to move him 1 medium stick to right there. So for my third action with the Wraith sub, I'm going to declare that he is changing his speed to speed 2. So that will take his 3 actions. I did a turn, a move, and increase speed to speed 2. That will take in effect next turn. So those are all of the actions for the Wraith sub. Next up, I'm going to activate Alahal the Elder. He is quality 2, so I'm going to go ahead and activate him on 2s. So he gets 3 actions. All right, so Alahal has 3 actions. I'm going to go ahead and move him up. To there. And I'm going to see if I have any line of sight for shooting just yet. So the Dagathonan Elder God is still 4 long, just a little over 3 long sticks away. So 4 range bands is an impossible shot. So I'm going to go ahead and do another move. Let's see if I can move him up a little bit more. Let's go this way, I think. It's okay. Matlal's quality 2, and he's going to be activating the sub. So we'll just move him up here. So that's 2 out of his 3 actions. Let's see how far away we are now. Alright, so Alahal is 3 long sticks away from the Dagathonian Elder God. So he is combat 4. He is -4 because of 3 range sticks away. So that's dice plus 0. The target is big, so that's dice plus 1. Alahal's gun is projectile long plus 2, so that's dice plus 3 total. The target is huge, so that is bigger than him, so that's another plus 1. So that's dice plus 4. And the Dagathonian Elder God's combat score is combat 5. So total is dice plus 4 for the red dice and dice plus 5 for the Dagathonian Elder God. Let's see if he hits. Okay, so that's 8 versus 10, so that's a total miss. Alright, so that wraps up all of the actions for the Ancients of Atalan for the top of turn 1. We're going to go to the we're going to go to the bottom of turn 1 for the Scaly Horde. So bottom of turn 1, we're moving over to the Scaly Horde. I'm going to start with the Dagathonan Elder God. He's quality 2, so we're going to activate on 2s. Okay, that's a great activation. So 3 actions. Okay, so for the Elder God, he's going to start moving up. So that's 1. Let's get him right about here. And for his 3rd action, I'm going to have him evade. Next up, I'm going to activate my Elder Sea Dragon with the Dagathonian Deep Collar in tow. He's going to be holding on. So he is a quality 3 model. Since he's next to the Deep Collar, he gets +1 to his activation. So he activates on 2s as well. Oh, so close to a heroic action, but 3 actions for him as well. So I'm going to move this guy up. I'm going to use two of those actions. Oops. So that you can read it. So he's going to move there, and then there, with the Deep Collar in tow, and we're going to have do his 3rd action as an evade as well. Alright, I already counted for the actions on the Deep Collar by grabbing on to this Sea Dragon, so he's already essentially been activated and did a quick activation to hold on. Next up, I'm going to do a quick activation with my Sea Demon Shaman. I don't want to risk it. He's quality 3. He's just going to move up to right about there. Alright, now both anglerfish are within a long stick of my Deep Collar, so they're my last two models to activate. So the first one, I'm just going to do Discretion being the better half of Valor. He's going to do a quick activation and move up. He's going to move right there for that guy. And this guy is going to do, the Bluefish is going to try to multiple activations on 3s because he's plus 1 activation because he's close to the Deep Collar. Okay, so 2 actions. That's great. So I'm going to go ahead and move him up. Okay, and that's where the Scaly Horde has landed. That is all models activated. And so that is the culmination of turn 2 for them. Turn 1, excuse me. That was the bottom of turn 1. We're going to go back over to the Ancients of Atalan, top of turn 2. Alright, top of turn 2, Ancients of Atalan. I'm already getting nervous. That was a pretty good round for the Horde. They made some great headway up the board. The big models are evading, so it's going to be harder to hit. I'm going to go ahead and start with Alahal the Immortal. He activates on 2s. Let's see what we can get there. So we can use my red dice. Alahal the Immortal, excuse me. All right, so that's 3 actions. Let me ponder my move with that Dagathonan God bearing down on me. All right, so what I'm going to do, I've already kind of pre-measured this. I'm going to move Alahal back just a little bit, spend 1 action to move back to make sure that I'm exactly 2 long sticks away from that guy. That way, yeah, that way I know I'm in the second range band. It's going to be a little harder to hit him. But I can do now an aimed shot against that Dagathonan Elder God, and he's going to have to activate really well to get all the way up into range to get into hand-to-hand with me. All right, so Alahal the Immortal is going to do an aimed shot at the Dagathonan Elder God. So let's do the math on that. Alahal is combat 4. His weapon is +2. So that's 6. He is -2 because of range. So that's +4. I'm +1 because of the Dagathonan Elder God is a huge target. So that's back up to 5. And I'm doing an aim shot. So that's going to be -2 the combat score of the Dagathonan Elder God. So Dagathonan Elder God is combat 5. And for the aim, he is -1. So that's combat 4. So 5 versus 4. However, one other thing, the Dagathonan Elder God was smart and decided to be evasive, so that's -2 combat score to the shooter. So it was going to be 5 to 4, but it's actually now 3 to 4. So Alahal is +3, Dagathonan Elder God is 4, so red dice is Alahal. Let's see if he connects. Oh, he might have. So that's an 8 versus 7. Let's check. So it was an 8 versus 7 going to Alahal. So Alahal had a winning combat difference of 1 point. The Dagathonan Elder God's body armor is 2, so it did not break the armor. So that means he is pushed back. He's got recoil plus advantage. So that's actually a really good outcome for the Atalans. That means I'm going to do my best to kind of push him back 1 base length. That's going to look something like this. And he's got advantage. Not that that's really going to matter because there's no one going to be getting into hand-to-hand, but that's a pretty good outcome. And so it's 1, no wounds to the body, but pushed back and advantage against that Dagathonan Elder God. Next up is the Sea Wraith. He is a sub again. I declared movement of 2. He's at speed 2 now. So I'm going to activate him on 2s because Matlaw's at the helm. So Matlaw, activating on 2s. Okay, 3 actions. Okay, so the Sea Wraith has moved up. He has slowed back down to 1, but now he's within 2 long sticks of the anglerfish, just a little bit longer than 1. He's within 2 though. However, one of the sub rules is that range doesn't start accruing until after the 3rd range band, so 2 long sticks range has no penalty. So let's do the dice math on this. So the Wraith is combat 4 based on the elite soldier. The heavy beam cannon is another +4, so that's 8. The the giant anglerfish is huge or big, so it is actually it's huge. My apologies. It's the same though. It's still big. So it's +1 to hit, so that's 9. I'll also say that based on that reef, that the huge anglerfish or the giant anglerfish is within partial cover, so that brings it back down to 8. So it is dice +8 for the Atalans on the red dice, and dice +4 for the anglerfish. I'm contemplating whether I want to do a emergency evade. I think I do, because that's going to really hurt if he gets hit. So he'll do a -2 combat score on the Sea Wraith. So with that -2 combat score on the Wraith, that gives dice +6 versus dice +4. So red dice is the Atalans. Let's see what happens. Oh god. All right, so that's a 12 for the Atalans. And then that's an 9 for the blue anglerfish, so that is definitely a wound and fallen. However, since it's a vehicle, it does 2 wounds, so that is 2 wounds and fallen. Okay, so that is all of the actions for top of turn 2. Ancients of Atalan did a little bit of damage, did a little bit better positioning with that Dagathonan Elder God, so that's good stuff. It kind of keeps the Atalans in the game a little bit. We're going to go to bottom of turn 2, Scaly Horde. Okay, bottom of turn 2, Scaly Horde. I'm going to start off with the Sea Demon Shaman. He's within a long stick of the leader, so he's going to get +1 to activation. So I'm going to have him channel spell points on 2s. All right, so he's got 3 spell points saved up. Next up, what I'm going to do, so 3 spell points on him. Next up, I'm going to activate the Dagathonan Elder God, activating on 2s. Oh, very good. So 3 actions on him. Okay, so 3 actions on that Dagathonan Elder God. I've already kind of pre-measured it out. He's going to move up. We're going to get aggressive. So the 3 medium sticks puts him right about there. So getting aggressive. We're going to get in there and mix it up. That's good stuff. Next up, I'm going to activate the Elder Sea Dragon. He's quality 2'd based on the Dagathonan Deep Collar. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to have the Deep Collar activate. He's just going to grab on, hold on, and move with the Sea Dragon. Make sure I'm doing my order of operations correct. So next up, then I will activate the Sea Demon, I will activate the Elder Sea Dragon. He activates on 2s. So 3 actions. So 3 actions will get him exactly into base-to-base contact with the Sea Wraith sub with an additional action, so he's going to do a rush attack against that sub. Roar! Smash! All right. Let's see what happens here. All right, let's go through the math here. So the Ancient Sea Dragon is combat 5. It did a rush, so that's +2, so that's 7. It is using its huge bite, which is hand-to-hand +2, so that is a total of 9. The sub is combat 4. It's got a ramming blade, which is hand-to-hand +2, so that's dice +6. So we're talking the red dice is dice +6, and the black dice is dice +9. Let's see what happens. This is a big hit. That's not so good for the Atalan there. So that is a total of 15 for the Sea Dragon. Ouch. And that's a total of 8 for the Atalan sub. So 15 versus 8, that is not doubled. Wow, those are some big numbers. That's amazing. Okay, so that means we're going to do some damage to the sub. So that's 1 damage to the body of the Sea Wraith, so it is tough, so it is not fallen. So 1 damage there. Let's go on and see what we need to do here for the rest of the Scaly Horde. So I think next up, what I'm going to do, I've already activated these 2 guys. I've activated him. I'm going to do a quick activation on that anglerfish. He's going to just keep following up here. Quick activation there. Keep him close to the deep collar. So next up, the last thing I have here is the blue anglerfish, who has taken 2 wounds and has fallen. He's got 2 more wounds on that body. That was a pretty rough shot. So he is within a long stick of the deep collar, so he's going to activate on 3s. Let's see what we can get. All right, so we got 2 actions there. The first action is going to be to stand up, and then he is going to get a little bit closer to the action. Put him right there. All right, so turn 2, Scaly Horde. We're going to go, that was bottom of turn 2. We're going to go to the top of turn 3, Ancients of Atalan. Okay, top of turn 3, Ancients of Atalan. I'm going to start with activating Alahal the Immortal. I gotta find out a better thing for him to be doing than to be tangling with the Dagathonan Elder God. So he activates on 2s. Let's see what we get. Looks like we got 3 actions there. That's good. All right, for this turn, I'm going to activate Alahal's advanced water jets. And I'm going to try to get the heck out of dodge and try to get away from him. So if I use a long move, so I can use the advanced water jets for one turn and be a long mover. So I'm going to move here. Then I'm going to move there. That puts him right about there. That gives me some interesting line of sight. So that's 2 actions. I'm going to try to drop a shot on that. Well, maybe I'll do it on the... Let me check ranges. I'm either going to shoot that red giant anglerfish or the sea demon shaman. Okay, so Alahal the Immortal ended up moving right there. He spent 2 actions to get there with his advanced water jets. Giving him long moves this turn. That takes another turn to recharge. I actually went back and checked my card. He cannot shoot this turn because his hypercavitation cannon requires 1 action to reload. So he'll spend his 3rd action to reload his gun, and that will be his activation. All right, next up is the Sea Wraith Submersible with Matlal at the helm. Let's see if we can activate him on 2s. All right, so that's 3 actions. Okay, so for the first action, I'm going to have that sub back off. He's a little bit too close. So in order to back off, I need to do a quality check. I can move 1 medium stick backwards. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. But I need to do a quality check or else I get a free hack from the Elder Sea Dragon. So 2s. All right, no problem. I'm able to back off. So I'm going to take one of my actions and turn a little bit. Turn. And then back off 1 medium stick. So that's 2 actions. I'm going to reserve my 3rd action to shoot. All right, so for his 3rd action, he's going to shoot his heavy beam cannon at that anglerfish. I only need 2 more wounds to kill it. So I need to start reducing the number of models or else I'm in big trouble. So let's do that. Heavy beam cannon, so combat 4 from the elite soldier. Heavy beam cannon is +4, so that's 8. Huge target, that's 9. No negatives for 2 long sticks because of vehicle weapons rules. So that is combat score 9 versus a combat score 4. I am going to do another emergency evade on the blue fish because I want him to survive. So that means a -2. So that is a dice +7 versus a dice +4. So dice +7 on the red, dice +4 on the black. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that is 7 + 4 is 11. And then that is a 7. So 11 versus 7. Definitely hit. I'm going to do a wound and is fallen. So it did not double him. Another wound and fallen, 1 wound left on the body on that blue anglerfish. All right, next up, within the sub, I'm going to activate the Copiform mech to see if I can repair that 1 point of hull damage done by the Elder Sea Dragon. So obviously he's within a long stick of Matlal the Elder, so he gets the activation bonus there. So he's normally quality 4. We're going to activate him on 3s. Okay, so he's got 2 actions. So since he's an engineer, he can try to do a quality check. The sub is Ether Tech 2, so I need I need to do a quality check, and I need to get 2 successes on a quality check in order to repair. I can spend 1 action, and if I get at least 2 successes, because the Ether Tech of the sub is 2, I can get +1, or I can repair 1 damage on the sub. So quality check. I do a quality check for each. I can spend an action, do a quality check. If I succeed, I need at least 2 successes because the complexity level of the sub is 2. I get +1 on that roll because I'm an engineer. So I need at least 2 ups in order to repair a damage because I'm an engineer. So here we go. Yep, so that 1 point of damage, I spent an action, and 1 point of damage is repaired. Okay, so that was the top of turn 3 for the Ancients of Atalan. We've dealt a little bit of damage, but it's still a little bit scary out there. So we're going to go back to bottom of turn 3 for the Scaly Horde, and let's see what the Horde can do. Okay, bottom of turn 3, I'm going to start with the Dagathon and Elder God. He's quality 2, so we're going to see if we can activate him on 2s. Oh boy, 2 actions on him. Let's see, let me take a look at the board and see what I want to do with those actions. Okay, so I'm thinking the Horde is going to try to beat down that sub. So instead of trying to turn and engage Alahal back there, I'm going to have the Dagathon and Elder God kind of make his way towards here. So we're going to do 2 medium moves. One there. And another there. Basically move there and see if I can't get that sub in a bad position. All right, next up, I'm going to activate the Elder Sea Dragon. He's right next, sorry. All right, next up, I'm going to activate the Dagathon and Deep Collar. He's going to grab hold and be towed by the Elder Sea Dragon, so that's his quick activation. Next up, after that, I'm going to have the Elder Sea Dragon activate. Since he's next to the Deep Collar, he activates on 2s. Ah, only 2 actions. Let's see what we can do there. So since I only got 2 actions, I can only really do a step and attack against that sub. So I can do 1, and then I'm able to move at least 1 base length to do a step and attack right there. So I don't get a charge bonus, but at least I do get to do a swing. So 1 action to move up, 2nd action to do a basic attack against that sub. Okay, so the combat scores, or the dice math on that, is the Elder Dragon is combat 5. He's got a weapon of huge bite, which is +2. So he's dice +7. The sub is combat 4 with +2 for its ram bow blade. So that is 6. So it is 7 versus 6. Red dice is Atalan's, black is Horde. Let's see what happens. Okay, so Atalan's 11 total, and then the Scaly Horde is 7 + 4 is 11. Wow, equal combat dice. So when the combatants tie and the defender has armor value, which the sub absolutely does, there's essentially no effect there. So bumped into him, did no damage. Okay, so next up, I'm going to do a quick activation on that red anglerfish. We're just going to have him move up a little bit. I don't want to risk. He's outside of long range, or long stick, excuse me, of the Deep Collar. So we're just going to have him move up. I do not feel like risking multiple activations on him. I'm going to maybe do something a little bit silly, but let's see what happens here. That blue anglerfish, he's within a long stick of the Deep Collar. I need 3s to do multiple activations on him. So 2 actions. That's good. That's good enough. So he's only got one wound left, so I'm going to take away that fallen. And I'm going to have him move up a medium stick to right about there. 1 wound left on his body. That's not great. All right. Last up is my Sea Demon Shaman. Let's figure out what we're going to do there. Okay, so for my last activation, I had 3 spell points saved up from last turn. And so I'm going to have that Sea Demon Shaman attempt to cast Acoustic Resonance Zone. So he is quality 3. He is not within a long stick of my leader, so he activates on 3s. He's going to try to cast Acoustic Resonance Zone, so I need 3-ups to activate him. All right, so I've got 2 actions, so I've got a total of 5 points in my pool total. So he's going to cast Acoustic Resonance Zone. Okay, so that Acoustic Resonance Zone, he dropped right there. It only took 3 power points to get him there. So with his remaining 2 actions, he's going to move up a little bit and try and get in some cover. But that's a good placement for that zone, I think. Because that kind of narrows off, or at least makes it a little bit harder for Alahal to do what he needs to do. So he's going to move here, And then we're going to hug him up next to the cover right there. Hopefully keeping away from Alahal's deadly shooting. So that's everything for the Scaly Horde. That's bottom of turn 3. Still no major damage or deaths there. We've got one anglerfish kind of hanging on by a thread. We're going to go to top of turn 4, Ancients of Atalan. All right, top of turn 4 for the Ancients of Atalan. We gotta do something different with this sub. We're just gonna keep getting pounded if we don't get out of the way here, and I need to really be relying on that shooting. So I'm gonna activate him on 2s with Matt Lal at the helm. All right, 2 actions, not ideal. All right, so first thing I'm gonna try to do is move away from the Elder Sea Dragon. So that's gonna require a quality check, or I get a free hack against the sub. So we're gonna do do a quality check on 2s. Did just fine. So no free hack. And so now we get to figure out how we're going to move that bad boy. All right, so not ideal conditions, but I think the best option, I've kind of reviewed my options here. I think the best option is to continue moving backwards by a medium stick and see if I can't get line of sight and do one shot against that blue anglerfish. So I can move all the way back there. And I've pre-measured it. I do have a line that I can draw between the sub and the fish. So we're going to take that shot here. Okay, so it's just under 2 long sticks for the shot there. So that's within no penalty range for that particular gun on that sub. So the heavy beam cannon with the gunner of the elite soldier is combat 4, +4 for the weapon. So that's 8. Huge target is 9. No penalty for range. So it's a 9 again versus a 4. He's going to do an emergency evade again. And I just realized that he probably couldn't have been taking actions last turn because of the emergency evade. So that's a little bit of an error, but no big deal. So I'll go ahead and do an emergency evade on him as well. So that is -2 to my combat score. So that's 7 versus 4 again against that blue anglerfish. So 7 versus 4. Oh boy. So that's 15 versus 10. Does not double him, but it does wound him. So that is the final wound on that anglerfish's body. So he is dead. All right, next up is Alahal the Immortal. He is quality 2. So let's see if we can activate him on 2s. No problem. 3 actions. Haha, so that was pretty smart of me to block off that angle there. I don't feel good about trying to... I need to spare every wound I can on the Atalan. So he would be going in there. He would be resisting on 4s because his armor doesn't save him on an acoustic zone. So I think I'm going to let the discretion be the better half of valor. And so I used his advanced water jets last turn, so I can't use those. So we're just going to move him here. So I got 3 actions. That's 1. Put him right there. And I'm thinking I'm going to do an aimed shot against that. Let me see what my angles look like. Okay, so with my remaining 2 actions, I'm going to do an aimed shot at the rear of that Dagathonan Elder God with Alahal. So it's an aimed shot. It's a little over 1 long stick. It's within 2 long sticks, so the aiming negates the extra long stick penalty. So he is combat 4, +2 for his rifle. So that's 6. +1 for a big target, which is 7. +1 for a rear attack, which is 8. The Dagathonan Elder God is combat 5, -1 because of the aim shot, so that's 4. So it's dice +8 versus dice +4. Oof. This ought to be interesting. Dagathonan is black. Alahal is red. Okay. So 10 versus 5. He is doubled. So on a doubled result, it actually, even though the Dagathonan Elder God is tough, that's actually a pretty good result. Let's see what happens there. So that is indeed 2 wounds against the Dagathonan Elder God, and he is fallen. So that is a really good result for the Atalan forces there. That kind of gives the sub maybe a little bit more breathing room. I don't know how much more breathing room, but they're already kind of getting pinched here a little bit. So that is the top of turn 4. We're going to go to the bottom of turn 4, Scaly Horde. Okay, bottom of turn 4, Scaly Horde. I think the first thing I'm going to do is try to activate that Dagathon and Elder God. Remember, he took 2 wounds and is fallen. I need to activate on 2s to see if I can get him back in the game. Oh, heroic activation. That is impressive. So 4 actions for that Dagathon and Elder God. Oh, this is going to be bad. So the first thing I'm going to do with this Dagathon and Elder God, the first action out of 4, remember, heroic activation, I'm going to shake that fallen. So now he is back up and ready to do his worst. Let's see what he can do. So if he moves here, he could do, he's got 3 actions, so it's going to take him 2 to get in, so he could do a rush. So he's going to rush that sub. Boom. Oh, big model syndrome. We're just going to do this. We're going to assume they're in base to base. 2 big models. I'll see if I can get that better, and then we'll come back. Okay, so the Dagathon and Elder God rushed the Atalan sub, so let's do the dice math on this real quick. So the Elder God is combat 5, plus 2 because he rushed, 6, 7, plus 1 because of weapon, so he's dice plus 8. So black dice is plus 8. The Wraith sub is combat 4 based on the sub's combat score, and then plus 2 for its ram, so it's dice plus 6. So red dice plus 6, black dice plus 8. Let's see what happens. Okay, so 8, 9, 10 versus 7. So that is a winning combat difference of 3. The sub's armor is, on the body is 3, and the armor break is 3. So that is definitely a wound to the sub. It's tough, so it is not fallen. Alright, next up I'm going to attempt to activate the Elder Sea Dragon. He's within a long stick of the deep color, so he's going to activate on 2s. Oh lord. Lucky lucky for him. So 2 actions. Alright, so with those 2 actions, and I neglected to say, it's the same thing every turn until I state otherwise. The deep color spent a quick action to continue to hang on. So with those 2 actions I did a charge, so a move and attack into that sub. That's 2 actions total. So let's get plus 1 on the combat score there. So let's do the dice math on that. So it's going to be a 6 again on the Atalan sub. So it's also going to be, let's make sure we get our dice math here correct. So it's 6 total combat score for the sub. It's combat 5 for the dragon. 6, 7 because of the huge bite. 8 because of the charge. And plus 2 because of flanking attacker. So that's a total of 10. So it's 10 versus 6 versus the Atalan sub. So the red dice is the Atalan sub, black dice is the dragon. Here we go. Oh dear. Okay, so that's a 15 versus a 6, 7, 8. Not doubled. So 15 versus 8 is definitely another wound to the body. Alright, next up, I'm going to attempt... Decisions. I don't want to do multiple activations here because I'm out of range with the deep collar. I think I'm going to let discretion be our valor point again. We're just going to move him up. Do I want to do that? I'm going to move him right... Yeah, I might get shot by a Law Hull if I put him there, but that's the risk I'm going to have to take. I need to get in there. And now I'm going to attempt multiple activations on the Sea Demon Shaman. No spells, no spells or... you know what? I'm going to attempt to channel spell points. Let's do that. So on 3s. Alright, so he's channeled 2 spell points, and he's going to stay put. And that is the entire bottom of turn 4 for the Scaly Horde. What I'm thinking is that sub's got to get out of his backward momentum there, and he's got to make a move. So we're going to go to the top of turn 5, Ancients of Atalan. Alright, it's top of turn 5 for the Ancients of Atalan. This looks really bad for the Atalan sub, but remember, he's got that Copoform mech to repair him, and he's pretty tough. It's only 2 wounds on him, and he's got a lot of wound boxes on the body. I think it's 8. So, I mean, he's not in a good position, but he's not going to die in the next turn. So what I really need to do is get a good activation here to see if I can make a move and get away from those guys. So he's piloted by Matlal, activating on 2s. Okay, 3 actions. I can live with that. Okay, so with that 3 actions, that's exactly what I need. I was kind of hoping for a heroic there, but I think I can do what I need to do with 3 actions. So he's going to have to take quality checks against those 2 monsters because they're in base-to-base contact. Potential free hacks there. So I'm intending to move. First, I need to see if I can escape a free hack from the Elder Sea Dragon. Quality 2. No problem. Okay. Next up, I need to see if I can escape free hacks from the Dagathonian Elder God. Quality 2. No problem there either. Okay, so no free hacks. So what I'm intending to do is, I've got 3 actions. I'm at speed 1. I'm going to spend 1 action to go up 1 depth level. Then I'm going to spend 2 actions to increase my speed to 2, and then to 3. So that's 3 total actions. So what that means is the sub goes up, and it goes forward 3 medium sticks. So let me take care of that right now. Okay, so that just got the Sea Wraith out of immediate danger. So he's up 1 level, and I'm indicating that he's at level 2 there with that die. He's got 2 wounds on him, which is that die. So he went up 1, and then he increased his speed to 3. That's 3 medium sticks from where he was. So he's out of the immediate danger zone there. And that used all of his actions. So next up, I'm going to go activate a Law Hall, and he activates on 2s. Let's see what we can do there. 2 actions. So with those 2 actions, Alahal still needs to reload his gun because he shot the Elder Dagathonian God. So he's going to spend 1 action to move up a little bit. Let's just put him right there. And he'll spend his other action to reload his gun. So that is Alahal. So let's go over here to the Copoform mech within the body of the sub. So he's next to Alahal, so he's quality 4 normally. He activates on 4s normally, so with Matlal and his control staff, he can activate on 3s. What do we got there? Ah, sweet. So 2 actions. So he's going to spend 1 action to try to repair the sub. So he needs, he's an engineer, and he needs to get at least 2 successes on an engineering check. So it's a quality check, so 3. So he needs at least 2 3s, but plus 1 because he's an engineer. So he needs at least 2 2s to repair a hull point. So 1 action failed. He's got 1 more action. Let's see if he can do it. Okay, so he repairs 1 hull point on the sub. All right, so that is everything for the Ancients of Atalan, top of turn 5. We're going to go to bottom of turn 5, Scaly Horde. Okay, bottom of turn 5, Scaly Horde. Well, the Wraith sub just slipped right past those 2 big monsters, and they're like, what? Where'd it go? What happened? And the Sea Wraith is just zooming away. Pretty smart move. And that turret fires 360, so it didn't have enough actions last turn. But if he survives, well, I'm sure he's going to survive next turn, but doesn't matter the facing. He can still shoot any direction. First up, I'm going to try to activate that Dagathonian Elder God. He activates on 2s. All right, 3 actions. All right, with that 3 actions on the Dagathonian Elder God, he is roaring in rage that Atalan sub just completely scooted by him, and he's out for blood, and he doesn't know which way is up or down. And so I think he's not going to try to keep chasing that thing. He's going to go after Alahal because he keeps shooting him in the back, and he's no longer very happy with that. So I've done the measurements. It is 3 actions to get all the way over there and in base to base. So he's going to do a rush attack against him. And we're going to do the dice math real quick here. Okay, so the Dagathonian Elder God rushes Alahal. The dice math on that is the Dagathonian Elder God is combat 5, plus 1 for his weapon, plus 1 because he's bigger, so that brings him up to 7, and plus 2 because of the rush, so that brings him up to dice plus 9. Alahal is combat 4, plus 2 because of his fusion blade, so he's dice plus 6. So dice plus 6 on the red, dice plus 9 on the black. Let's see what happens. Oh dear. Okay, so that is a 15 versus an 11. Definitely does a wound and fallen. I'm pretty sure that's way past armor break. Yeah, definitely does a wound and is fallen. Let's see, is he tough? He is not tough. So Alahal takes a wound and is fallen. Okay, next up is the Dagathonian Deep Caller. He's just going to spend a quick activation and hang on to the Elder Sea Dragon. The Elder Sea Dragon is going to attempt to activate on 2s. 3 actions. So what does that mean? That means if he's going to try to attack that sub, he's going to have to go up 1. I don't know if I can get there. Let's see if I can do the measurements and figure that out. Okay, it was 2 medium sticks away, straight distance, so the dragon swims up 1 level and then swims over 2 to do a rush attack. So actually that would be a charge, not a rush. So he actually can get into base to base with that sub. The models are just big and a little bit goofy, but he is in base to base. There's no problem. Okay, so let's do the dice math on that. So the Sea Wraith can't use its bow ramming blade because it's being attacked in the rear arc. So it's only combat score 4 for the Sea Wraith. So the dragon's dice math is as follows. He's combat 5, plus 2 because of weapon, so 6, 7, plus 1 because of charge, 8, plus 1 because of rear attack, 9. So it's dice plus 4 versus dice plus 9. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So 10 versus 8. So that is armor break 3. So I beat him by 2. Armor break of 3. Armor on the sub's body is 3. So that is definitely a wound. Not doubled, but a wound and not fallen. All right, next up, I'm going to attempt to activate my giant anglerfish. So I'm going to hold off on him. I'm hoping that I get multiple activations here. I know that's maybe a little bit screwy, but I need to think about what's going to go on there. But I need 3s because I'm within a long stick of my deep collar. So activating on 3s. Oh, 1 action and I turn over the turn. That's not good. All right, so let's see. What do I want to do here? I think... I think what I'm going to do is I am going to swim 1 medium stick. Now that Wraith is moving 3. So he's going to have to do some turns. I'm going to start moving back this way just to prepare, because I'm assuming that Wraith is going to be moving. And I want to be able to intercept the best I can. Okay, so that was the bottom of turn 5 for the Scaly Horde. It's getting interesting. We're chasing each other around. This could be fun. All right, so we're going to go to top of turn 6, Ancients of Atalan. Okay, top of turn 6, Ancients of Atalan. The first thing I'm going to try to do is activate that sub with Matt Lal at the helm. That's activating on 2s. 3 actions. Okay, so I am moving at speed 3. That means I must move 3 unless I do a speed change. So I think right now the best thing he can do is just keep moving. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got 3 actions. The first thing I'm going to do is do an up to 90-degree turn. Now remember, he's at depth 2. So we're going to do a turn there, and he can glide completely over that reef. So now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. See Wraith just gliding right over that reef. That turret is a 360-degree turret, so I've got 2 actions left. I'm going to do some shooting. So I am actually going to shoot that. I'm going to shoot him. That seems like a good target. Okay, so since I wasn't able to activate the Sea Demon Shaman last turn, he does lose his channeled spell points. So that's no longer a good thing for him. So the Sea Wraith Submersible is going to shoot that Draconid Sea Demon Shaman. So let's talk about the numbers there. So the Sea Demon Shaman is only combat 3. It's within a long stick, but it's also one down, so a medium stick. So again, with the subs rules, it gets 2x range, so it's within 2 long sticks, even with the range difference between the levels difference, so it's still within regular range. So he is combat 4, 5, 6 with his heavy beam cannon. Sorry, plus 4 because of his beam cannon, my apologies. So it's 4, 8, and then there's no range penalty there. He's got 2 actions, so he's going to do an aimed shot for -1 against the Sea Demon Shaman. Gosh. I'm just going to hope for miss, and so he can actually do some, instead of the evade. I was thinking about evade, but I think I'm just going to hope for miss. So it is 4, 8 for the shot on the Atalan, so it's dice plus 8 for the Atalans, and dice plus 2. Oh, God. Dice. I don't like his chances. Dice plus 2 for the Sea Demon Shaman. Here we go. Alright, so it is 7 total for the Shaman, and 8, 9, 10, 11 for the sub. So he did not get doubled. That's good, but it does 2 wounds on creatures. So, yeah, it does double wounds on creatures. So that does 2 wounds to his body. So he is wounded and fallen. And I'll put a target, or I'll put a little icon on him. So he's definitely wounded and fallen. 1 wound left on that Sea Demon Shaman. Next up is Alahal the Immortal. He is locked in combat with the Dagathonian Elder God. He needs 2s to activate. 3 actions. So I think the first thing he's going to do is that he is better at shooting than he is at hand-to-hand. So we're going to do that. So he's going to take... I am going to take the risk of a quality check to break out of hand-to-hand combat. So I need 2 2s. Oh, he's fine. Okay, so I'm able to break away with no free hack. He is going to scoot away. So the first thing Alahal is going to do is he's going to stand up because he was beaten down by the Dag God last turn. So if I can actually get this thing to move. Yep, here we go. All right, so first action of 3, stand up. Second action, he's going to use his advanced jets to scooch back within a long stick. So that's action 2. And his gun is reloaded. So he is going to shoot that Dagathonian God. Alahal is combat 4, plus 2 with his hypercavitation cannon. So that's 6. Plus 1 because the target is huge. That is 7. And then the Dagathonian God is combat 5. So it is 7 versus 5. Oh boy. So 7, 13, and 5, 6, 7. Oh, not doubled, but so close. So close. So it does 1 wound, not fallen, because you need to double this guy because he's tough. So that does 3 wounds to the Dagathonian God. He has got 5 wounds remaining. All right, so that was Alahal. We're going to go over to the Copiform mech to see if he can do some repairs on that sub. So he's within a long stick of Alahal, or Matlal, excuse me. So he activates on 3s. So 3 actions. I need to get... I'll try to repair one of those damages. And he does. So repairs a damage. So he's back up to 2. And that, I believe, is the Ancients of Atalan turn. So that was top of the turn. We're going to go to the bottom of the turn, Scaly Horde. Okay, bottom of turn 6, Scaly Horde. First thing we're going to do is have the Dagathonian Deep Caller do a quick activation to continue to hold on to the Elder Sea Dragon. The Elder Sea Dragon is going to attempt to activate within a long stick of the Deep Caller, so he activates on 2s. 3 actions, excellent. So with those 3 actions, he can do 3 medium moves. Let's see if we can get in contact with that sub. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. So we're at level 2, so he's above this. So we're just going to do our best We'll move that back when we can. But we're going to do this. We're at level 2, remember. He's able to make it into base to base. Dagathonin Deep Color still hanging on. Level 2. And so that is a rush attack onto the sub. So with those 3 medium moves, he is able to move twice, and that was exactly, or just shy of a base length of the dragon's base to get in contact with the rear of the sub. So it's not a rush, sadly, but I can do a step and attack, so that's what we're going to do. So the dice math on that is the sub is combat 4. It's it can't use its ramming blade, so it's just a straight combat 4. So dice plus 4 for the Atalan. So for the dragon, it's going to be combat 5 base, and then the huge bite is plus 2, so 6. And then for an attack from behind, that's going to be a 7. So it's going to be dice plus 7 versus dice plus 4. Let's see what happens. 10 versus 8. The body's armor is only 3. Armor break of 3 on that, so definitely 1 additional wound to the sub. So back up to 3 wounds on that sub. With the attack from the dragon. All right, next up for the Horde is the Elder Dagathonian God. Let's see if he can activate on 2s. 3 successes. Okay, so let's see what we can do there. Okay, with those 3 actions, I'm going to move him in. It looks like it's going to be a charge attack. So 2 movement. Actually, it's going to be a rush. 2 movement and an attack, so that's going to be a rush attack. Let's do the math on that. Okay, let's talk about the dice math here. So the Elder Dagathonian God is combat 5, plus 1 for a weapon is 6, plus 2 for a rush is 8, plus 1 for being a larger opponent is 9. So he is dice plus 9 on the black dice. The Alahal the Elder is combat 4, plus 2 for his fusion blade, so he's dice plus 6. So dice plus 9 versus dice plus 6. What happens? Ooh, okay. So that's a 13 versus an 8. He is not doubled, right? So that's 9, 13. Yeah, 13 versus 8. So he's not doubled, but he definitely takes a wound. So since Alahal is not tough, he takes another wound to the body and is fallen. So he's got 3 wounds on him now. He's got 2 wounds left on his body. Oh boy. All right, that is the Dagathonian Elder God. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got the fallen Sea Demon Shaman, and we've got the anglerfish. Let's see. I think I'm close enough. It's going to be 3s either way. I think I can get more work done with the anglerfish, possibly. So let's see if we can do multiple activations on the anglerfish on 3s. 2 actions. At least I don't turn over the turn. So 2 actions. I'm definitely not going to get into hand-to-hand with him, but I can go up a level and move. So I'll do that and come back. Okay, so I moved the anglerfish up 1 level and a medium stick. It still is not good enough to get him into base to base, but I've decided to represent all this accurately. I put these guys on swim stands. So these 3 folks are all level 2. So that is the activation for the anglerfish. So last I think I have is the Sea Demon Shaman. So he activates on 3. So there's no reason not to try to go with multiple activations. So let's see what happens. Last model. Oh, very nice. Complete failure. Doesn't matter. Turn over the turn anyways. So that was the bottom of turn 6, Scaly Horde. We're going to go over to the top of turn 1, Ancients of Atalan. Okay, top of turn 7, Ancients of Atalan. I'm going to start by activating the Wraith Submersible. So we're going to activate him on 2s, piloted by the high-quality Matlal. Let's see what happens. That would be a heroic activation. So 4 actions for Matlal and the sub. Let's see what we're going to do there. All right, so for the Wraith sub, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a medium move forward of my first of my 4 actions. Let's make sure we don't knock my model over here. We're going to move forward. Right there. And now I'm going to do a 90-degree turn. I still haven't done any actions yet. Remember, I'm moving at speed 3. So the first action is to do a 90-degree turn. Right there. I get to do 3 speed sticks. So that was the first move, or first action. I'm going to do a move. See if I can move him delicately. Woo! 2. I bumped that I bumped that stick a little bit. So now I'm going to do another turn. So this is my second action. I'm going to do up to a 90-degree turn right there. So that's 2 actions. That means I've got 2 actions left. I still need to move. I've got 1 more move stick. So I'm going to do that right now. Because I'm moving at speed 3. I'm going to use my last 2 actions to do an aimed shot. So we're going to go... see if I can get this. So I'm going to assume, since I'm a medium stick above that zone, the zone is a short stick in radius, I'm going to assume that it does not affect the Wraith because it only goes up a short stick because it's short stick radius and I'm up 1 medium stick. So I'm going to assume that has no effect. So now I've got 2 actions. I've done all of my moves that I need to do. I've got 2 actions. Now I'm going to try to do an aimed shot and I'm thinking it's going to be at the anglerfish. Okay, so the Wraith submarine is going to fire his heavy beam cannon at the anglerfish. It's well within a long stick range, so no problems there. So the heavy beam cannon is combat 4 based on the elite gunner. The weapon itself is +4, energy +4, so that's a combat total combat score of 8, dice +8. The fish is big or huge, so that's another +1, so that's a total of 9. The giant anglerfish is combat 4. I'm going to have him do an emergency evade. I'm going to remember not to apply that for next time in terms of actions. So that would be -2 to the combat score of the Sea Wraith. So that's going to be a total of dice +7 versus dice +4. But I've got 2 actions left, so I'm going to do an aimed shot. So that's dice -1 for the anglerfish. So it's going to be dice +7 versus dice +3. So the red dice is +7. Sorry, yeah, the red dice is +7. The black dice is +3. What's going to happen? Oh, dear God. Okay, so 13 for the Wraith. Almost doubled. 7 for the anglerfish. I'm going to have to put an emergency evade on him so that I remember. He is not doubled, but he does do double wounds because it is a vehicle weapon. So that is 2 wounds and fallen on the anglerfish. All right, next up, I am going to try to tempt multiple activations for Alahal. He activates on 2s. What are we going to get? Let's see. Only 2 actions. Yeah, that might not be a good look for him. Let's see what happens. So Alahal is in a little bit of trouble. He only got 2 actions. He's got 3 wounds on his body. He's got 2 left. He's got 2 actions. He's fallen, and his gun needs to be reloaded. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stand. And, he used his jets last turn, so he can't use them this turn. So I either need to choose to reload and take no combat action, which I think is what I'm going to do because his gun is way better than his hand-to-hand. I think he can hopefully survive 1 more turn with that Dagathon and God on his back. So we're going to take that second action and first action to reload, first action to stand up, second action to reload. So that's him for the turn. All right, so now I'm going to go to the sub, back to the sub. Got the Copiform mech. I'm going to try to do some repairs, so he activates on 3s. 2 actions. First action, he's going to try to attempt to repair part of the hull. No problem. So he repairs 1 hull point, and that's his activation. So he's back up to 2. All right, so that is the Atalans. That could have been a better turn for the Atalans. That was the top of turn 7. Let's go to the bottom of turn 7, Scaly Horde. Okay, first up, I'm going to attempt to activate, I'm going to activate Deep Collar. I'm going to do a quick activation, continue to hold on to the Elder Sea Dragon. Second up, I'm going to activate the Elder Sea Dragon on 2s. 2 actions. That is not what the Scaly Horde needed. So, what's probably going to happen here is he's going to move forward 1. Can I get an angle where I can't cross bases? I wonder. Let me see if I can do... Here, let's do this. That's 2 wounds on him. Let's see if I can do a Is there a situation? I don't think I can clear that base realistically. That's probably what I can do right there. Can I get into base to base with that sub? It's not looking good, folks. No. But I can do something else. He's got a breath weapon. So what I can do is this. I'm going to move him up, and then he's going to shoot that sub. Actually, I'm going to leave him right there and use the second action to aim, because he's within 2 medium sticks. So if I just sit there and I can draw a line of sight to the base. If I just sit there, right there, and don't move. I don't like that, because then that sub is going to keep going around and around and around. You know what? I'm just going to try to get some damage on him with the breath weapon. So let's talk that through. So the Elder Sea Dragon is combat 5. The Lightning Blast is medium +2. So that's 7. Large target is 8. And then the subs combat is 4. So this is going to be 8 versus 4. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's not good at all. So that's 9 versus 10. That's a complete miss. So breath weapon missed. All right, next up is the Dagathonan Elder God. He's going to activate on 2s. 3 actions. So he is already there in base to base. I sort of forgot about this when I was playing Alahal. The Dagathonan Elder God's got combo 3 hit. So if I hit with the first action, I can keep doing hits. This could be bad. So let me figure out what my options are for combat here, and I'll be right back. All right, Dagathonan Elder God versus Alahal the Elder. This is epic battle right here, folks. So Dagathonan Elder God, let's talk about the math there. So he is combat 5, +6 for his weapon, +7 because he's bigger. So he's dice +7 on the black die. Alahal is combat 4. His blade, his fusion blade, is dice +2, so he is 6. But I'm going to take 2 actions with the Dagathonan Elder God and do a mighty blow. So 2 actions, so that's -1 to the combat score of Alahal. So he is dice +5 instead of dice +6. So it's dice +7 versus dice +6. Let's see what happens. 7, 8, 9. Dice +5 is 10. So Alahal hits him back. Does he do enough damage? So he is armor break 3 on that plasma blade. The Elder Sea God is armor 2 on the body. So he actually does a wound to the Dagathonan Elder God. 1 wound. Back at ya from Alahal. So unfortunately for the combo hit to trigger, the Dagathonan God has to actually hit. So he didn't. So I could use that action for something else. I guess I'll use it to evade in case the sub decides to do something tricksy. But that ends his activation. That's used all of his actions. So now we've got the Sea Demon Shaman and the Anglerfish to activate. I'm going to try that Anglerfish again. See if we can do some... activating on 3s. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yes, 3 actions. So the first thing he's going to do, well, actually it doesn't matter because he did evasive action. So the only thing he can do is activate. And I just lost my token. Oh no. Oh, there it is. So the only thing he can do is activate. Actually, that doesn't matter. So all he can do is a quick activation and activate. He's still fallen. Let's do that again for the Sea Demon Shane. Let's see if we can get him back in the game. Activating on 3s. Nope. Well, at least he can stand up. I think he's still fallen. Yeah, he's still fallen. So he gets 1 action. He's going to stand up. And that's going to be the turn. That was the bottom of turn 7 for the Scaly Horde. We're going to go to the top of turn 8 for the Ancients of Atalan. Top of turn 8, Ancients of Atalan. I'm going to start with Alahal. He's actually done a lot of damage to that Elder Dagathonian God. He's only got 4 wounds on the body left. Alahal only has 2 wounds on his body left. So Alahal acting on 2s. Activating on 2s, excuse me. So he's got 2 actions. All right. So he loaded his gun last turn. He could use his jet burst. He doesn't really want to get close to that zone. I think we're going to wait on that jet burst. We're going to go right here. Get him back here, right next to the zone. Not touching it. So he's got 2 actions. That was one of them, and he's going to shoot his gun at the Dagathonian Elder God. Okay, so the dice math on this. Alahal is combat 4, 5, 6 because of his weapon, the hypercavitation cannon, and 7 because the Dagathonian Elder God is so big. But the Dagathonian Elder God also did an evasive action, so that's a -2. So he is dice plus 5, and the Elder Dagathonian God is just combat 5 himself. So it's 5 versus 5. Let's see if he can connect. 5 versus 5. I think that's a total whiff. So yeah, there's no way that could hit. So that's a 7 versus a 10. Shot misses. Next up is the Sea Wraith, piloted by Matlol, activating on 2s. Lots of 2s there. So 3, 2, and a 2. That's still good for 3 actions. So got 3 actions, and I'm also moving at speed 3. Okay, so first up, he's moving at speed 3. So I've got to move him 3. I'm not going to spend any actions to slow him down. So he's going to move to there. See if I can gingerly move him that far. Without taking the coral with him too much. That's the danger of big spiky models, folks. So that's about there if I look at the edge of the base there. So that is 1 move. I'm going to go ahead and move him 1 more. Straight forward. Move him out to there. So that's 2 of his 3 mandatory moves. Then I'm going to turn him up to 90 degrees. A little tricky to do this on camera, folks. Do our best. So we're going to turn him up to 90 degrees. Have him come down this pathway here. All right, and I still owe you 1 more move. We're going to move him right up to the edge of this thing. Now remember, that's at level 1, he's at level 2, so he can fly right over that. Okay, so I did my 3 movements. I used 1 action to turn. I've got 2 more actions. I am going to do another aimed shot at somebody. Who could it be? I'm going to shoot at the Elder Dagathonian God. Let's see how far away he is. So it's 1 long stick. And remember, he's down 1 level. So it's down a medium. So he is, if I'm going to shoot him, he is actually 1 range band out. So it would be a total of 3. So it would be the -2 penalty to shoot there. Is that what I want to do? I don't know if I can see. I could see the dragon. It might be time to put some wounds on the dragon. How far away is he? Yeah, I'm gonna try to put a wound on the dragon. All right. So, combat 4, plus 4 because of the gun, plus 1 because of large target. So that's 9. The dragon is combat 5. I'm also aiming. I'm using 2 shots. It's a shot plus an aim, so it would be combat 4 for the dragon. So it's going to be dice plus 9 versus dice plus 4. Let's see if we connect. Oh dear. Okay, so it's dice plus 9, 15 versus 7. That is doubled. And vehicle weapons do double damage, so that is 4 wounds on the dragon. Ouch! And that is, he's tough, but that's more than doubled, so he's going to take 4 wounds and is fallen. Okay, with 1 shot from that heavy beam cannon from the Wraith sub, it literally sliced open that dragon, and he's bellowing his rage and pain. 4 wounds, that's half the wounds off his body in 1 shot, folks. Ouch! Okay, so Matt Lal has gone, Matt Lal has gone in the sub. Alahal has gone in the sub. The Copiform mech, activating on 3s. Can he repair another hull point? Ugh. 1 action and he turns over the turn. I'm going to attempt to do a hull point restoration on that sub. Hey, look at that. He does. So get 1 hull point back. So it's back to 1 damage on the sub. All right, that is the top of the turn. We're going to go bottom of the turn, Scaly Horde. The Scaly Horde is on the back foot because their models are getting pinged and fallen and damaged. They need to kill something. So this turn, I thought about having that gun is just wreaking havoc on the Horde. I got to kill something, and I feel like Alahal is like the closest thing I'm going to get to something that I can kill this turn. So the Horde needs to do work against Alahal, I feel. And so we're going to start there. So I'm going to start with the Dagathon and Elder God. We're going to see if we can do multiple activations on him, activating on 2s. 3 actions. Okay, that's good. Okay, with the Elder God's 3 actions, he's going to do a charge and a mighty blow against Alahal. I've really got to put the hurt on him this turn because I need to get a kill for the Scaly Horde to keep him in this game. All right, so let's do the dice math on that. Elder, Dagathon, and God. Combat 5. Weapon, plus 1 is 6. Larger target, 7. Charge, 8. And a mighty blow. That's against Alahal. So it's a base of 8. Alahal, combat 4. Weapon is plus 2. Puts him at 6. Mighty blow puts him at minus 1. So it is 8 versus 5. Let's see what happens. So Scaly Horde, Dagathon, and Elder God. What happens? All right. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 5 plus 4 is 9. So that is a wound and fallen. It's not doubled. It's not what I needed. But it is what it is. All right. So Alahal now has 4 wounds on his body. He is fallen again. 1 wound left on his body. Can the Horde get him this turn? Next up, Dagathon and Deep Collar. Quick activation, holding on to the dragon. Next up after that, Dragon, activating on 2s. 3 actions. First action, stand up. Second action, he's got 4 wounds on his body, remember. Second action, I'm going to get a little closer and see if I can't shoot him with my breath weapon. That's going to put him right there. I'll come back after I move him. Actually, I decided not to shoot. I took the stand up and then moved 2. He's a little bit closer to Alahal, so I think I'll be able to close with him next turn and certainly seal the deal there. Still really wounded, not feeling good about that. Next up, I really need to get something going on with this Sea Demon Shaman. Let me see if I can do something there interesting. So activating on 3s. 3 actions. That's fantastic. Okay, with those 3 actions, I'm going to move my Sea Demon Shaman. I'm going to leave that wall up because Alahal's got nowhere to go and he's going to have to go into that zone, which might be to my advantage. So he's already stood up from last turn. I'm going to move him next to this coral for 1 action. Second action, I'm going to move him close right up to the zone. Right there. I know that's not ideal, but I just don't want him to get shot, and Alahal's got bigger problems than a Draconid Sea Demon Shaman. So then I'm going to put an evade on him as his 3rd action. So that's him. Last up, and he's got 2 wounds on his body, so let's not forget that. Last up, I've got my Anglerfish. Need to get him back in the game. Activating on 3s. Alright, 2 actions. Not great. Stands up from being fallen as his first action. We're going to have him move a medium stick closer to the action. I'll move him and we'll be right back. Alright, that's the state of the table after all of the Scaly Horde has done all of their actions for the bottom of turn 7. The Atalans are in really good position with their models, except, well, with the sub. But Alahal is really kind of on the back foot here. He's going to have to go into that zone to get away, and now he's getting pincered on the other end of the table. So we're going to go to the top of turn 8 and see what the Atalans can do. Okay, top of turn 8, Ancients of Atalan. I am going to activate Alahal, the Immortal. He activates on 2s. Oh dear, it was almost heroic there, but he's got 3 actions. So the first thing he's going to do, I could use that use my long move and make it harder for the Dagathonian god to pursue me. I'm going to do that. Ugh. Let's see. Let's do this. I'm going to try this. He's going to activate his water jets and move that far away. Now he's going through the zone, which means I have to do a resistance check, or I potentially take wounds. So it's a quality check, or sorry, it's a resistance check. I resist on 4s. Right, his resistance is 4. So I need to get 2 or more resistance checks succeed, or else I take a wound. Okay, he's fine, thank God, because if he failed that, he was going to be dead. So he makes that. So that was his first action. His gun is reloaded. He could put some real hurt on the Scaly Horde if he shot the Sea Demon Shaman, because then it would be 2 models down, and I'm not sure how the Horde could come back from that. All right. Well, he's going to try to win the mission by shooting. He can't kill the Elder Dagathonian God this turn, but he could potentially kill the Sea Demon Shaman, so we're going to try that. Okay, so Alahal is going to attempt to shoot that Sea Demon Shaman. He's within range of 1 long stick, so he is combat 4, plus 2 for his gun is 6. And the Sea Demon Shaman is combat 3. He's going to do an emergency evade. So it's minus 2 to the combat score, so it's going to be 4 versus 3. Let's see if he can connect. No. So it's going to be 5 versus 5. So that means it comes down to whether or not the defender has armor. And the Sea Demon Shaman does have body armor of 2. So there's no effect there. So the Scaly Horde really did a gut check there. That was lucky. That was very lucky. That was poor positioning on the demon's part, my part. All right, so Alahal did a shot, and that's his turn. All right, next up for the Ancients of Atalan is the Sea Wraith sub with Matt Lawler at the helm, activating on 2s. Only 2 actions that time. Interesting. Okay, well, I'm moving at speed 3. And let's see where he ends up. Okay, so I did the measuring. It's easier just to kind of show you and then I'll move it because I don't want to fumble around with the camera and the model on a wobbly base. So 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, we do an action to do a turn. I've only got 2 actions, so once he gets here, he's going to do a shot at either the anglerfish or the dragon to be his second and final action for the turn. So I'm going to move that and come back with the combat. Okay, so that's where the Sea Wraith ends up. Get that dice out of there. I was just marking my place. So that's where the Sea Wraith ends up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go for the guaranteed kill. This anglerfish only has 2 wounds left as opposed to 4. So I'm pretty confident that I can chew through 2 wounds easier than I can 4. So let's do the math on that. So he's less than 2 long sticks, and I get double range on a sub. So that is no range penalty. So combat 4, dice plus 4 for the heavy beam cannon. So that's 8. Large target is 9. Anglerfish is combat 4. I guess I kind of have to do an emergency evade on him, don't I, if I'm going to have any chance of living. So it's going to be -2 to the Atalan combat score. So dice plus 4 for the Horde, and dice plus 7 for the Sea Wraith. Let's see what happens. Oh, not good. Okay, so that's a 12 versus an 8. I did a wound, breaks armor. That's enough because even 1 hit will do double wounds on a regular model. So that anglerfish is basically sliced in half, and he is dead. So that is not a gruesome kill because I did exactly the number of wounds I needed to do. So the anglerfish is just dead. So that's another victory point for the Atalans. I guess last up is the Copiform mech in the sub. Let's see if he can activate on 3s. Activates no problem. 3 actions. I will do my 1 attempt to do a repair. I need 2s. Yep. So I repair 1 hull point, and so he's back down to 1 hull point of damage. And so that is the top of the turn for the Ancients of Atalan. We're going to go to the bottom of the turn for Scaly Horde. Bottom of turn 8, Scaly Horde. Mission: Alahal, the Immortal, must become not immortal and die. The first thing we're going to do is have the Deep Caller do a quick activation, continue to hang on to the Elder Dragon. Elder Dragon needs to activate on 2s. 2 actions. Can he seal the deal? With those 2 actions, he will charge Alahal. He is a little bit under 2 medium stick, or a little bit under a medium stick away, so he will charge. Right there. Let's do the math. Combat score 5, 6, 7 with his huge bite, 8 because he's larger, 9 because he charged. Alahal, combat 4, 5, 6 because of his weapon. So dice plus 9 versus dice plus 6. Here we go. Ooh. 6, 7, 8 for Alahal. 14 for the dragon. Not doubled, but it is enough to take the final wound off of Alahal, and he dies. Next up, I'm going to take a little bit of a risk. I want to get that Sea Demon Shaman out of the way. He's not within a long stick of the Dagathonan Elder God, the leader, so he activates on 3s. And we're going to call that a heroic activation. So with that heroic activation, 5 actions. The first action is going to be to drop this acoustic resonance zone. The second action, he's taken 2 wounds. He's got 1 wound left. He's going to move back. 1, 2. He's going to move back there. And he's going to use his last action to evade. All right. Dagathonan Elder God, activating on 2s. Heroic activation. All right, with those 4 activations, I'm going to have him come around the outside here. Around the outside, and be positioned right here in the middle for when that sub, I'm anticipating it's going to swing back around, and then next turn I can pounce on it if I get lucky. I don't think he's got the maneuverability to get around in a way, and I don't want to charge up here. I could come up to about here, but then I'd be right in front of him and he shoots me. I want to maybe have some line of sight blocking type of stuff so that I don't get shot. So I did that to kind of show you where he is. I'm going to place him and then come back. Getting him to there was 3 actions. He had 1 more because it was a heroic activation. So he's going to evade. All right, next up, I've done the Sea Demon, or I've done the Dragon, I've done the Sea Demon, I've done the Deep Caller, I've done him. So that is my turn. That is the bottom of turn 8. We're at the top of turn 9, and with the Ancients leader dead, the score right now is 2 points to the Atalans for killing the 2 giant anglerfish. It's 3 points to the Horde for killing a leader in Alahal the Immortal. The Atalans have to make up points now. It's probably safest to keep everybody in the sub, so he's going to try to activate on 2s with Matlal at the helm. 3 actions. Okay, with 3 actions and 3 movement, speed 3, that's 1 move, spend an action to turn, another move, and another move. So I'm going to place him there, the front of his prow right there, and that leaves him 2 actions. Probably going to do an aimed shot on the dragon. I'm going to move him and come right back. All right, Atalans. 2 actions left. Aim shot, heavy beam cannon at the dragon. Combat 4, plus 4, large target is 9. Dragon is combat 5. He's going to do an emergency evade, so that's -2 to the sub. So it's dice plus 7 for the sub, and dice plus 4 for the dragon because of the aim. 7 versus 4. All right. So that's a 9 to the Horde and a 10 to the sub. So that means 1 wound does get through. It's doubled because it is a vehicle weapon. So that's 2 more wounds on the dragon, and he's fallen. He's got 2 wounds left. Oof. That dragon hanging on by a thread. Copiform mech going to an attempt to repair, needs to activate on 3s. Ooh. Complete failure. Oh boy. Alright, so no actions there. Turns over the turn. We're going to go to the bottom of turn 9, Scaly Horde. Bottom of turn 9, Scaly Horde. First thing up, I'm going to activate the Elder Sea God. Let's see if he can do another heroic activation. Come on. So close. Only 3 actions. So we're going to move him up. Alright, so with those 3 actions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the Elder God up 1, move him forward, and then on the 3rd one, I'm going to have him just stand there and evade. So hopefully next turn I can get into him. Alright, next up, Dragon. Sorry. Deep Caller. Quick activation, hanging on. Dragon, activating on 2s. 3 actions. Alright, with those 3 actions, first thing he needs to do is stand up. So he's only got 2 actions left. The Wraith is 1 level above him, so there's no way he can get into combat this turn. So what I think I'm going to do is have him move 1 stick there. Get a little bit blocked, hopefully. And then we'll put an evade on him and hope that he does not get shot at again. And the Deep Caller obviously goes with him. Alright, next up is the Sea Demon Shaman. I think he's within a long stick now. He is. So we're going to try to activate him on 2s, and we're going to have him channel spell points. Yep, 3 spell points for him. And that is the bottom of turn 9. We're going to go to the top of the turn 10. This is the last turn. All right, Ancients of Atalan have got 1 turn to make it count. So the sub is going to activate on 2s with Matlal at the helm. Oh, 3 actions. All right, so I need to move 3. So let me do my positioning and I'll be right back. The only way the Atalans can tie this game up is if he kills 1 more model, and his best shot at killing a model is the Ancient Sea Dragon. He's got 2 wounds left. So if he moves 1, 2, spend 1 point to turn. Here, spend 1 point to slow down. So if I go 3 movement, I suppose, I wonder if I can angle that to where I don't have to slow down, spend a point to slow down so I can aim. So if I did something like this, and then moved 1 more, I have to move 3. I wonder if I can get my, let's see if I can get my model in there. I'll be right back with the placement. Okay, I can place the sub right there. That's pretty tight, but it is 100% legal. Looking good, no bases touching where they shouldn't. So he can do an aimed shot at the dragon. It's 1 depth level down, but it's significantly less than a medium stick, so there's no range penalty there. So it's going to be very similar to before. Combat 4 on the sub, plus 4 for the weapon, that's 8, plus 1 for a large target, that's 9. Combat skill 5 for the dragon, minus 1 for the aim is 4. He's going to do an emergency evade. Well, he's already evading, I think. Yep, he's already evading. So that's minus 2. So it's 7 versus 5. 7 versus 4, excuse me. All right. All right, folks. 7 versus 4. Let's see what happens. Oof. So that is a 12 versus a 7. Does not double, but it still does a wound. And 1 wound goes to 2 wounds based on it being a vehicle weapon. So that is enough wounds to kill the Elder Dragon. All right, so I think it's fair to call the game at this point really quickly. Why? At this point, the Ancients of Atalan have killed 3 models, so that's 3 victory points to the Ancients of Atalan. The Scaly Horde has killed 1 model in Alahal, but he's worth 3 victory points. So at that point, the game is tied. However, in skirmish, there is another rule called Last Man Standing, and that's plus 5 victory points to the team that has the more models at the end of the game. So given that the Scaly Horde has lost 3 models, leaving their warband, the God, the Sea Demon Shaman behind the rock, and the Dagathonian Deep Caller, that's 3 models versus the 5 models left on the Ancients of Atalan side. That means that the Ancients of Atalan win. They've got more models standing. There are more models left in their warband. They're all in the sub, but they've got more models. And there's no way that the Dagathonian Elder God is going to kill the sub or any of the creatures within it to pull that back. So at this point, the score is 3 points to the Scaly Horde and 8 points to the Ancients of Atalan. So that is a victory for the Ancients. What a great game. I love playing this game, even though it was solo. I think we'll wrap up here.
Okay, what a game. Even though I played that game solo due to the pandemic, had a lot of fun. And really what I wanted to do was take an opportunity to get the biggest toys that I had out on the table and see what happens. And full transparency, again, I know we've said this in the past before, but we have always really struggled to unlock Ancients of Atalan for whatever reason. They have just not, they've underperformed for us on the channel. And I can say with certainty that the Wraith sub is by far the best sub that I have played against. Even the Fortune Hunter sub, um, that heavy beam cannon on the top is pure murder. But let's talk about that in a moment. So really, again, this game was trying to see how the biggest models on the table kind of played and interacted, and kind of see what kind of battle we could have there. So I was not disappointed. Had a lot of fun. The Elder Sea God was a ton of fun. The Ancient Dragon was a ton of fun. I think they struggled to get through the Wraith's armor and do enough damage. I think if I had to do it again, it's hard with the Scaly Horde because you have to get aggressive quickly to start doing damage, but you got to close distance, but the qualities aren't particularly good. But that's one of the things that I could have done differently with the dragon, and tow maybe some other models along and let them kind of, jump off and attack, and see, at a critical moment they could jump off and attack. I might do that differently, but I wasn't sad with the performance. And honestly, this game went one turn long, and even though it went one turn long, that extra turn didn't change the outcome too particularly badly. The Ancients did have more people standing, or more models standing at the end, so they would have gotten that +5 bonus. So they probably would have won they for sure would have won anyways. And having only one person to play and not kind of bounce rules knowledge off, I did make a couple of small mistakes during this game, but I think at the end of the day I got most of it right, and I tried to capture in some notes where I did a few things wrong. MVP for this game has to be the Wraith sub. That thing piloted by Matt Lal, and having a gunner at Gunnery 4, just you're starting off at dice +8 right off the bat, and if you're shooting a large target, and that long range on the gun, and getting 2 long sticks on that range, you can just really that thing was just kind of cutting out into the murky darkness of the depths and slicing things in half, and that was wicked fun. And having that thing kind of back off at the beginning, and then realizing, oh, I can just kind of swoop up and fly around them. I think you could see a pattern where the Wraith sub could just basically fly in circles and just start lasering things, and making it a very bad day for your opponent. The doubling of the wounds on the dragon, and particularly the dragon, and the anglerfish as well, but particularly the dragon, that was just brutal. Doing 4 wounds on that one shot, I could just see like its fin getting sliced off or something, and just brutal. So loved that sub. Really happy to put Alahal and the sub on the table, the 2 big hitters for the Ancients of Atalan. Got my second anglerfish all painted up, and I love the blue and the redfish, bluefish thing going on there. So unfortunately, they didn't get to see a whole lot of action. I was kind of sad about that, but them's the breaks. But yeah, had a good fun overall. So great game, even though it was solo. Made a couple minor mistakes, like I said, but had a lot of fun. So let me know what you thought of this battle. Did it make sense? Did you feel like it was lopsided? I sort of felt like once the anglerfish got killed, there was a lot fewer opportunities to kind of chase down the sub. Killing a Lahal was challenging, but it was doable. But getting that sub at the same time, that's a lot of beef to chew through. So I think once the 2 anglerfish were down, I think it kind of sealed the fate. But overall, I thought it was a pretty balanced game. I had a lot of fun, and it was really great to see the Ancients of Atalan do well in this game. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you liked it. What other kind of battle reports would you like to see? And thanks for watching.